Hello, welcome back to Survival Saturday with Johnny Tiger on March 27, 2021. This next few Survival Saturday Tactical Tuesday, I'll be addressing the video that I'll be including in the description of the video. So if you want to follow what I'm talking about, then it's a good idea to check it out. And so because we will be doing some responses to what the video talking about. Normally, I don't like to do reaction videos, response videos, because I am the kind of person that I think if I disagree with you, if you disagree with me, I prefer for us to meet in person and sit down and talk it over like civilized people, over coffee or wine or beer or dinner. And if we disagree on some point, then maybe we can go out there and arm wrestle and then or do a few rounds of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or to do some little simulations, little drills, and spar a little, and then we can settle it like gentlemen or reasonable people. I don't like the kind of back and forth that we see on the internet, where you say this, I say this, and you don't care. You didn't read what I say, and I'm not going to read what you say. I'm just going to say my piece, and then people start trolling, and things just get really silly. With that said, obviously meeting up and doing this during the pandemic is an impossibility right now. So we are going to do this on video because there's a lot of materials to cover. I'm going to uh, do this in multiple parts. I actually attempted to do this all in one video today, and it just wasn't going to do. I just tried to record this, and it went almost over a whole hour long, so that's way too long for one video. So we're going to cut this down to size that people can actually digest. Um, who am I to be responding to the video in this fashion? Who am I to think that I can respond? I'm an authority to speak on this topic. Well, I have been training in Krav Maga, and I started training in 2011. Prior to that, I've been training in various forms of martial arts since 1988. 1988. So I've been kicking around the martial arts self-defense circle for a long time. I am also the first ever totally blind person to win a silver medal for Canada in the Tafisa World Championship in the self-defense division. So I do believe that I'm somewhat qualified, somewhat talking about this topic, which is Krav Maga. Also because I'm very passionate about what I do, what I teach, what I train, and a lot of the questions, a lot of the accusations, a lot of the thoughts in this video, which is called "Is Krav Maga as useless as Aikido?" uh, were questions I asked myself back in 2011 before I got into Krav Maga. I also wondered if Krav Maga was legit. I wondered if my instructor was legit. I wondered about all these things. So I think there might be a lot of people out there that are looking for answers, and hopefully, what I tell you, it, don't take what I say as a gospel truth, but it's just my opinion, my experiences, my understanding, but hopefully they will be of some use to you. Before we start, I want to establish a couple of ground rules because uh, I don't want there to be any misunderstanding. So, rule number one, the video's name is Krav Maga as useless as Aikido. I'm not going to stand here and defend Aikido, okay? Uh, because first, I have never trained in Aikido, so I don't know much about it. I have never met a person who sparred against me, could beat me using Aikido. I never fought anyone out there on the street or at the bar or in the dark alley that beat me using aikido. Okay, I've had my ass whooped a lot of times in my life, but never been with aikido. So I don't feel I'm qualified at all to speak about aikido, to defend aikido. Uh, I have my own doubts, but I'm not going to say it's a good or no good until I can actually one day train in it myself and make a decision for myself. So I'm going to leave the defending of Aikido to those people who feel they're qualified, to feel that they're knowledgeable enough to do so on their own video. Number two, I do not represent Krav Maga as a whole. I do not represent international Krav Maga. I do not represent Krav Maga worldwide. Uh, I'm only experienced, trained in, taught Commando Krav Maga, which was originally taught uh, by Moni Isaac, and I also am a chief instructor for tactical personal protection, and I've been training with a crew over at Richmond Martial Art for a handful of years. So I'm not going to stand here and say I represent the entire Krav Maga society. I'm not the ultimate authority on like every kind of Krav Maga out there. I do what I do. I know what I do, and that's what I'm going to share. Now, with that said, like I said, there's a lot to cover. So we are going to start today by talking about the one point the gentleman made in the video that I really agree with, which is there's no standard in Krav Maga right now. There's no regulatory system. It's a crapshoot kind of. If you get a good program, a bad program, that is really really true. Okay, that I'm standing here. I'm going to tell you that I have had this one conversation, well, one out of quite a few conversations actually, where I talked to this person who told me that he trained in Krav Maga in a different part of the world. And he told me that he's the same level as me. And so I was like, wow, that's cool. You only been doing it for a year and then you're the same level as me. That's really cool. You must be really good. Uh, what did you think of your combat exam? How many push-ups did you have to do? And that person just kind of paused and he said, what do you mean push-ups? I said, like, the conditioning part, the physical part, push up, burpees, and he said, we don't have to do any of that. And I was like, I was cussing out my instructor and all his family, left, right, and center in my head. My God, this guy got to be my level, and he didn't have to do any physical conditioning. You know what I had to do for my combat exam for that particular year? I had to do 900 push-ups, 900 sit-ups, 900 burpees, 900 squats, back to back, no break, no water break, no water, nothing, back to back. You do it or fail. If you stop for longer than 5 seconds, you fail. And after that, you have to do a technique demonstration, and after the technique demonstration, I have to do 1 against 7. I had to go against 7 people in a survival drill for 5 minutes. I had to stay on my feet for 5 minutes. If they dragged me down, I failed the exam. That's how stringent things were for me in the Krav Maga program. And here, this person told me that he didn't have to do a single bit of push-up for his exam for him to get to my level. And then later I heard from other people that say, oh wow, they've been doing Krav Maga for 2 years and they haven't even learned how to fight multiple attackers. They've been doing it for a year and a half and they haven't even sparred yet. Now, those all made me feel like, yeah, there definitely need to be a regulatory system out there. There need to be a gold standard for people to know what to expect, because otherwise you can have two people, both are level 2 Krav Maga from different schools, and they can be so different that they don't even seem like they're from the same style. So it is true that there need to be some kind of regulatory system for Krav Maga. So with that said, I'm going to tell you guys a few of the things to look for, how to determine if the Krav Maga program you are looking at is legit, is genuine, is real. Okay, so just in case you have doubt, these are things you can look for. Uh, for those of you who already are in the Krav Maga program, uh, I don't want you to think that just because what I say here, that I'm saying yours is a fake one, yours is a false one, because like I said, I do not represent all the Krav Maga styles out there. Maybe some do have different style of training. Right now in the world, there's three branches of Krav Maga. There's a military branch, there's a law enforcement branch, and a civilian branch. But but no matter which branch you train in, the core value should be the same. The only real difference is in the military branch they teach you about how to use your rifle as a melee weapon, and they teach you on how to deal with combat and without uh, hurting the civilian. And in law enforcement, they teach you more about restraining your target, and how to search for weapon, how to protect your the person you need to protect, like in a bodyguard or security situation. In civilian, you only have to really worry about yourself. But no matter which branch you are in, these core values I'm going to share with you shouldn't change much. Okay, so again, if you are doing a Krav Maga program and you are happy, then okay, cool. I'm happy for you. But if you have doubt and what I say here start to raise a few red flags, then maybe it's a good time to really look into it and maybe find a better program, somewhere better to train, somewhere better to spend your time and money. Number one, Krav Maga is not a martial art. Krav Maga is not a martial art. There's no art about it. Okay, in Krav Maga, the core techniques are kicking the groin, gouging the eyes, ripping the face, and clapping the ear, chopping the throat, hitting the back of the neck, uh, all that stuff. Okay, so there's no art to it. If your school market your Krav Maga as a martial art, if your instructor tell you you are learning a martial art, if your instructor is showing you this roundhouse kick and telling you that's a Krav Maga martial art move, okay, that's red flag number one. Where Krav Maga is a fighting system, it's a self-defense system, it's a military system. It is not a martial art. There should be no martial art about Krav Maga. Okay, so red flag number one. If you are being told that you are learning a martial art while you're learning Krav Maga. Point number two. One of the core value in Krav Maga is physical conditioning. Krav Maga was made for the military, used by the military, and overall, we believe in no complicated movement. You should require very little techniques, but you should be you should be honing your body to the point that a simple punch, a simple kick would be devastating. Hold on a second, let me check. I just heard the low battery thing going off. Okay, still recording. Good. So the physical conditioning should be at the core of your Krav Maga program. If you have been doing your Krav Maga for a year and a half, 2 years, and you have not experienced being pushed so much that you want to quit, you have not experienced that you are sweating buckets on the floor and you want to cry, you just can't move anymore, then that's red flag number two, because Krav Maga should be all about physical conditioning, especially in the very beginning. Um, when I got into Krav Maga in 2011, I have already been kicking around in a martial arts circle for a long time. Like I said, I started in 1988. So I was not a newbie. I was not a novice. I was very much into martial art. I was very fit. I was pretty good at what I did. I had a brown belt in Taekwondo. I had a brown belt in Karate. I have a teaching certificate in a primary, a different self-defense program. I had experience in judo and Muay Thai and Kung Fu, and I have trained with the Taiwanese military children's program. The first day I showed up at Krav Maga class, they managed to work me so hard that I was laying on the floor on my belly. I was like, oh man, okay, maybe I'm not as fit as I thought I was. I suck. I can't do this anymore. That was my first day. Okay. So yeah, physical conditioning. If you have not experienced that kind of pressure in your Krav Maga career, in your Krav Maga training, then that's red flag number two. Red flag number three, if after a year of training you have not experienced one on two, one on three, fighting against two or three people, fighting against people with weapons, fighting against people who's trying to choke you out, and fighting against people who's fighting dirty, then that's red flag number three. Okay, because again, if you show up at your Krav Maga class and a year later you're still doing 1, 2, 3, 4, a roundhouse kick, and side kick, and elbow, and knee strike, if that is most of what you're training, then you're doing MMA, you're doing kickboxing, you're not doing Krav Maga. Krav Maga core value is physical conditioning and reality training. You should be prepared after a few months to at least know what to look for when two or three people attack you at the same time, when people come at you with baseball bats, when people hold a knife to your throat, when people point a gun to your head, when people come at you with a knife and stabbing towards your chest. Right? You might not be proficient at it by a year, but you should at least be experienced in doing that kind of drill. Red flag number four. If sometime during your training, your instructor have not recommended that you should learn something else at the same time, if your instructor is telling you that Krav Maga is all you need, then that is red flag number four. We'll cover that a little bit more in the next episode, but uh, Krav Maga is not a complete martial art. It is not a martial art. It is not a complete style. It is something that's going to help you max out your potentials, help you put all your other techniques, other knowledge to use. So the more you have in addition to Krav Maga, the more tool you have to pick from. But just having Krav Maga and nothing else is going to be about the equivalent of learning how to shoot but having no money to buy bullet to load your gun with. I'm going to also show you a couple of things to, to check out to find out if your Krav Maga program is legit. One, of course, do your homework. Find out who your instructor was trained by. Find out who their instructor was trained by. Trace your lineage back to where it came from, and actually pick up the phone and call. If they say they're from IKM, if they say they're from Krav Maga Worldwide, pick up the phone and call them. Ask them. I say I have an instructor who say he his style came from you guys, is he recognized by you guys. There's nothing wrong with doing that. I did that. Okay, I did that before I joined the program. I traced it back to Commando Krav Maga and found out that my instructor, his instructor, was in fact registered and legit. No, that's so. Do a little bit of homework. Make the phone call. Nothing wrong with that. Number two, this one is not foolproof, but it's a good indication. You can often know if your Krav Maga program is legit or not by the look of the crowd you are training with. They should look like they are really fit. They should look like soldiers. They shouldn't. They might not look like martial artists, but they should look like they can run a mile, climb up the mountain, and still fight. Your instructor, that guy who's teaching you Krav Maga, should be able to, without blinking an eye, do 50 or 100 burpees on the spot, without complaining about it or stuff like that. Okay, your instructor should be that drill sergeant that is the toughest of the bunch. Your classmates should all look like they are ready if the world ends today and the zombie is coming. Okay, even the weakest in your class, of course, and we are not counting the guy who just joined like 2 months ago, but people who've been there for 6 months or a year, even the weakest of them, they should look like someone you really don't want to mess with on the street. Okay, they should look it. This is a very important part. They should look the part because with that kind of mental and physical conditioning that Krav Maga is meant to do, that it will bring out a certain attitude, a certain physical attribute in everybody, even children, even smaller people. They will look like they can survive in a really tough situation. So just look at the crowd you're training with. Okay, if you show up for class, your instructor is standing there in a wife beater and he's all saggy and look like he just have beer and pizza for dinner every day and look like if he run a block he's going to have a heart attack. Yeah, he's probably not a Krav Maga guy you want to learn from. If your classmates all look like a good kick to the stomach, they're going to fold over and cry, then that's probably not the Krav Maga school you want to train with. So that's a very good indication. Now, there's one more way, and it's totally up to you if you want to do this or not. I'm just going to warn you first that if you do this, most likely you will get hurt, but at least you will get the peace of mind that you are training with the right program. Some of my students have done it to me. Some of us have done it to our instructor. Okay, if you really want to know if your instructor is a legit Krav Maga guy, one day when you show up for class, when he's greeting you, okay, greeting you in class, just pull out a knife and go at it. All right, pull out not a real knife, but training knife, okay, just in case he doesn't know what he's doing. You don't want to murder him. Pull out a training knife and stab him, right, in the chest, in the stomach, go at his face, right. Don't warn him. Don't wave in his face. Just act like you are a serial killer, right? Pull out a training knife and go at it. When he has his back turned, talking to other students, jump on his back and try to choke him out, try to pull him down to the ground, or come rushing up to him with a knife, stab him in the back. Okay? I'll guarantee you, if your instructor is any good at the Krav Maga they're teaching, you will you will feel two things. One, you will regret doing it because it's going to hurt a lot. Two, uh, you will feel kind of glad that you did it because now you know you're being trained by a real badass. Okay? So, in the end, like I said, there, there are a lot of red flags that can be raised by a fake or uh, false Krav Maga program. And there's a lot of things to look for. In the end, if you feel that you're getting fit, and you're happy in your program, then don't even try to figure out if it's fake or not, okay? As long as you're happy, it's okay, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with having fun, there's nothing wrong with being happy. But if in your mind you really want to know, then I hope this video has helped you. Again, I will put the video link to the original video in the description, and then we'll come back and address more on this topic in our Tactical Tuesday. For now, thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow for Soul Search Sunday. Have a good night.